ISIS attacked two locations in the province of Diyala in Iraq on Tuesday. According to the Diyala police, a member of the Iraqi intelligence service was shot dead by an ISIS sniper in the settlement of Al-Abara near Baquba. In another ISIS attack on a residential house in the village of Uktebe, about 115 kilometers northeast of Baquba, two brothers were killed. The security forces have launched a military operation in the areas concerned. Parts of the Diyala district have a Kurdish majority and are attributed to South Kurdistan. They are thus disputed between Iraq and South Kurdistan. The population of the Baquba sub-district is roughly equally divided between Kurdish and Arab Sunni. Furthermore, there are Shiite, Turkmen, and Assyrian-Syriac population shares. Various international powers, such as Turkey, try to play off their respective population groups against others. ISIS is also moving in the direction and is particularly active in Diyala and Baquba. In recent months, ISIS has increased its activities in Iraq, Syria, and Rojava. The large-scale ISIS attack on the Sina prison in Hasek in northern Syria represented the peak of current ISIS activities so far. The YPG, or Women's Defense Units, has held a military ceremony in Hasek, north and east Syria, as part of ongoing celebrations for International Women's Day. Hundreds of YPG fighters proceeded from the YPG headquarters in the Malabi district of Hasek to the city center in a convoy of military vehicles displaying the green and yellow flag. A military parade was then held in front of the local culture center before a conference addressed by YPG commanders. The display was particularly symbolic as ISIS recently staged a failed major uprising in the city of Hasek, threatening to roll back the Syrian Democratic Forces' defeat of the terror group. The YPG are a key component of the SDF and participated on the front lines of operations across the region, with members of the Islamic State reputedly fearing to be killed by women due to their radical Islamist ideology. The conference was addressed by the co-chair of the Deir ez-Zor Military Council, Lilawal Abdullah, who commands the YPG in the Arab region, which was the last to be liberated from ISIS. Ms. Al-Abdullah said that the women of north and east Syria will continue the struggle against despotism and work across political, social, and especially military fields to achieve enduring success. The YPG would also work to free women still held in slavery by Islamist organizations across the region and liberate territories occupied by the Turkish armed forces, she added. The event was also attended by the mothers of women killed in the wars against ISIS in Turkey, as well as members of local women's organizations and the Hasek Council. Video footage of imprisoned Kurdish leader Abdullah Öcalan was displayed, while YPG-affiliated music groups performed their work. Images of the YPG, broadcast around the world, have garnered considerable fame and support. The event follows an 8th of March military parade held by the YPG in Raqqa, the Arab-majority city and former ISIS capital, which is now under the control of the Autonomous Administration of North and East Syria. A group of women activists in Sanandaj marched to the summit of Mount Abidar, which is 2,550 meters, to celebrate International Women's Day on March 8th. A group of women activists from Sanandaj, city of Rojava, Kurdistan, eastern Kurdistan, marched to the summit of Mount Abidar to celebrate International Women's Day on Tuesday. The members of Jivan Association, a women's association of group of women activists, gathered at the foot of Mount Abidar to march to the summit to raise awareness of the public against gender-based violence and femicide. They shouted slogans such as "No to violence against women," "Equal rights to equal work," and "No to femicide." After reading a statement to mark International Women's Day, the women began to march to the summit. Gina Modares Gorgi read the statement on behalf of the women. March 8th is the day of women's struggle against inequality and the capitalist system that always persecutes and humiliates women. We demand our rights and the end of gender discrimination, she said in the statement. At the end of the event, daffodils were distributed to all women participating in the march. An open discussion has been held in Sulaymaniyah, Iraqi Kurdistan, to raise awareness of women's issues around International Women's Day. The discussion under the name "Women's Awareness Can Liberate Society" organized by the local Directorate of Culture and Arts and held at the Sulaymaniyah Art Gallery. Prior to the discussion, a video was shown on the challenges faced by women in society. A recent spate of feminicides and gender-based violence has highlighted the challenges still faced by many women in the conservative society of the Kurdistan region of Iraq. The panel, which took form of an open discussion with writer Bayam Salim, then took place. Before women could fight on an equal plane with men, it was necessary to fight against the patriarchal system in society, Ms. Belim said. All religious systems, capitalism, and nation-states serve to protect the patriarchal consciousness, she added. To change this, it is necessary for women to first free themselves from patriarchal thinking. By solving women's problems, all the problems of society are solved. The Kurdish, Russian, and Ukrainian women have come together at an International Women's Day event in Russia organized by members of the local Kurdish community. The 8th of March event, organized by the local Women's Committee, was a display of unity in the context of Russia's ongoing military operations against Ukraine. Members of other nations and minorities, such as Kazakhs, Armenians, and Tatars, also participated in the cultural event. The diverse national and ethnic groups displayed folk music from their homelands at the celebration, which occurred in the Krasnokhud district of Russia's Saratov region. Russian woman Valentina Vladimirovna addressed the celebration to send wishes to all women on the occasion of International Women's Day. Kurdish dance group Koma Zilan and visual artist Aziza Aliyeva also presented their art, while the event ended with the traditional Kurdish Goven dance. Protests over non-payment of salaries are continuing in the Kurdistan region of Iraq, despite a recent increase in the price of oil driven by the Russian conflict with Ukraine. Oil prices have now reached $130 a barrel, and the Kurdistan regional government spokesperson Jotyar Ali has said that salaries would now be paid on the 25th of each month. But February salaries are yet to be paid to many employees, prompting ongoing protests. Teachers and employees of the Raperin University are continuing their protest in front of the higher education facility in the town, demanding payment of their salaries and a failure to offer fair opportunities over promotion. We are not only demanding the payment of our salaries, said local teacher Lila Mohammed. We demand a fair wage for all residents of the region. The region's revenues are not transparent and we don't know where all the profits are going. The government should be spending more on serving the community and local residents. Government employees across Sulaymaniyah, Halabja, Penguin, and other towns and cities have also been protesting non-payment of salaries in recent days. At the same time, taxi drivers in Sulaymaniyah took to the streets in the city to protest the rise in petrol prices, which is making it difficult for them to find work. Financial mismanagement by the KRJ, which is dominated by the Kurdistan Democratic Party and its rival Patriotic Union of Kurdistan, is endemic. Both parties stand accused of corruption and failure to provide services, salaries, pensions, or benefits, leading to regular and ongoing civil dissent. Celebrations for International Women's Day have continued in north and east Syria, with the Arab cities of Manbij and Shihdadi seeing celebration as part of a program of events scheduled to continue until 10th of March. Following widespread celebrations across the region's Kurdish and Arab cities on 8th of March itself, which was declared a day of holiday for the entirety of Nis, outreach events and festivals have taken place. In Shihdadi, an event was held organized by the local educational association with the support of the international NGO Save the Children. Students and teachers attended the celebration of women's contribution to society, where a design exhibition was also held. Shihdadi was formerly under the control of the Islamic State, which denied girls access to even basic education. The same is true of Manbij, a major Arab city in the west of the region, where the Culture and Arts Committee held an exhibition of cultural heritage under the slogan, "Let us defend our revolution together and save our land." The demonstration celebrated women's contribution to society. A group of women made traditional bread and demonstrated the use of traditional handicrafts and devices, such as brass tools and stones for grinding grain. The co-chair of committee, Jayla Said, welcomed the participant and said, "Our heritage represents the community's identity and is a fundamental element of society. Without heritage, culture, civilization, and language, There is no meaning to human life. The deputy head of the local women's committee also addressed the crowd, highlighting the dangers posed to recent advances made by women in Nes by the threat of the Turkish occupation. The achievements of women in Nes have caught the attention of our enemy, she said. I call on all women to intensify their struggle. The celebration ended with traditional music sung by the Dil Huzan group. International Women's Day is celebrated across regions such as North and East Syria, Shingal and Mahmud Camp, all of which follow the teaching of imprisoned Kurdish leader of Öcalan and placing an special importance on women's role in society. An art contest has been launched for young women in the Gela district of Bashur or Iraqi Kurdistan. The contest, launched on 9th of March, invites young women aged from 15 to 35 to submit essays, poems, and stories. Under the slogan, "The line of struggle is drawn with the woman's pen." The contest will continue for 3 weeks with a deadline on 1st of April. It is organized by the Young Women in Struggle organization. The contest is dedicated to women abducted by Saddam Hussein's Ba'athist regime during the Anfal campaign, a genocidal counterinsurgency operation which saw up to 180,000 Kurds killed by forces loyal to the Ba'ath regime. Adult males were slaughtered en masse, while women faced sexual and gender-based violence, as well as disappearance, torture, and killing. Successful entrants will receive prizes at 2 of April's ceremony, the organizers have said.